Dear soul, come closer. I know this season has felt lonely, especially when you have been fighting battles no one else could see. I am Kaelon, one of the elders of the Arcturian Council, and I want you to feel this clearly. You have not been forgotten, and you are not standing alone. By the end of our time together, you'll understand why someone trusts you more than you imagine, and how their quiet support may already be helping you move forward. But first, let me share something I've observed across many ages, something that might bring you comfort. Even the strongest starseed can mistake silence for abandonment, when in truth, unseen hearts may be battling for them with deep love and faith. This is a moment between us, elder and soul, sharing wisdom passed down through ages. Stay with me gently until the end, and take only what brings peace to your heart. And I'm grateful you're here with me now. If what you have been sensing is that someone, somewhere, is standing beside you more faithfully than you realize, I want you to receive this gently. I channeled everything into the dark side of spiritual awakening. 13 chapters so you never feel lost again, plus 9 bonuses including a relationship map for navigating the chaos awakening creates, 30 days of Kaelon's personal letters, and an emergency card deck for your lowest moments. Everything is accessible through an exclusive app, your personal sanctuary. But I won't keep this door open forever. Access is limited, and once it closes, I won't reopen it. The link is in the first pinned comment. You were never meant to walk this path alone. And now, dear one, take one slow breath with me. Let the breath enter without force, filling the places within you that have been clenched against disappointment. Let it leave as though you are setting down, just for this moment, the need to understand everything. You do not have to solve the mystery of who believes in you before you are allowed to feel supported. You only have to become still enough to let the possibility reach you. You may not yet know who has been holding faith in you. Perhaps you have looked around and seen only silence. Perhaps the people you expected to understand have misunderstood you, or those you hoped would stay have stepped away. Perhaps you have been carrying responsibilities quietly, smiling when your heart felt tired, and telling everyone that you were fine because explaining the truth seemed too exhausting. There are seasons when a person becomes so practiced at surviving that even their own pain begins to feel like background noise. You answer messages, complete your duties, care for others, and continue moving while an unseen weight presses against your ribs. People may admire your strength without realizing that strength has sometimes been the only clothing you had left to wear. They may see the lamp burning in your window and never imagine how close the flame came to going out. I understand why this message may feel almost difficult to accept. When we have been disappointed, often enough, kindness can feel suspicious. When we have had to protect ourselves, support can feel like a story we are afraid to believe. And when life has asked us to stand alone for too long, even the thought that someone is quietly advocating for us may bring tears before it brings comfort. The heart remembers every unanswered call. It remembers the promises that dissolved, the moments when you reached for a hand and found empty air, the times you were told that your feelings were too much or that your needs were inconvenient. So when tenderness appears, an old part of you may whisper, "Do not trust this, it will disappear too." That voice is not evil. It is a guard formed from pain, but it does not have to remain the ruler of your life. You can honor what happened to you without allowing it to define everything that is still possible. What I have observed across many lifetimes is that support does not always arrive in the form we expect. Sometimes, someone is speaking well of you in a room you have never entered. Sometimes a person you thought had forgotten you is remembering your courage and choosing not to give up on your name. Sometimes the one battling for you is not a stranger in the distance, but the wiser part of yourself that continues to rise each morning, even after the night has taken much from you. There may be someone who sees more of your goodness than you imagine. They may not announce it. They may not know how to cross the distance between you. Perhaps they are praying for your peace, protecting your confidence, correcting an unfair story, or simply hoping that one day you will recognize the beauty they have recognized for a long time. Not every act of love becomes visible to the person it serves. And sometimes, dear one, the battle is not against another person at all. It is the gentle struggle between the old story that says you are alone and the deeper knowing that says you are still loved. It is the quiet work of life rearranging circumstances that you cannot yet see. It is the unseen protection created when someone offers a kind word, makes a thoughtful decision, keeps your confidence, or chooses to give you another chance when you are not present to witness it. Scripture tells us that love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. This does not mean that love ignores harm or refuses boundaries. It means that love can look beyond the temporary evidence of a difficult moment and remember the soul beneath it. There are times when another person's faith in you becomes a small bridge over a river you did not believe you could cross. You may have imagined that trust is always announced. You may have believed that if someone truly believed in you, they would say so clearly, stand before you, and make their loyalty unmistakable. Sometimes they do, but many forms of trust are quieter. They appear when someone gives you room to grow instead of defining you by your past. They appear when someone does not join the judgment against you. They appear when a person remembers your heart even while witnessing your difficult season. Trust can look like patience with your unfinished sentences. It can look like someone allowing silence without punishing you for it. It can look like a friend who does not force you to explain why you need space, yet remains available when you are ready to return. It can look like someone who reminds you of who you are, without pretending that your pain is not real. There are people who trust you more than they tell you, because they do not want to place another burden upon your shoulders. They see that you are already trying. They recognize that you do not need another speech about becoming stronger. You need a place where you can set down the armor for a little while. Perhaps the person who believes in you knows that constant reassurance could make you feel as though you must perform your healing for them. So they wait. They leave the light on. They offer a steady presence rather than a dramatic declaration. Their love may be like the roots of a tree, hidden beneath the ground but holding everything upright when the wind begins to rise. And there are also people who may not know how to express their care. Some souls were raised in homes where love was shown through labor, protection, patience, or practical help rather than words. Their silence does not always mean indifference. Their awkwardness does not always mean absence. This does not mean you must excuse every form of neglect, dear one. Discernment remains a sacred companion, but it may help to remember that love has many dialects, and not every heart speaks yours fluently. Someone may love you by repairing what is broken, driving across town, remembering the appointment you forgot, or making sure you have eaten. Another may love you by giving you the freedom to make your own choices. One person may speak tenderness openly, while another communicates through dependable action. This does not mean you should accept crumbs and call them a feast. It simply means that before you decide love is absent, consider whether it may be speaking in a language you were never taught to hear. I have seen beautiful souls reject support because it did not arrive in the exact shape they had hoped for. They waited for a particular person to apologize, a particular door to open. While they waited, they overlooked the hand already resting near them. They overlooked the friend who listened without fixing, the neighbor who checked in, the stranger who offered one moment of dignity, the counselor who helped them name what they were carrying, or the quiet inner voice that whispered, "Please stay." Sometimes we become so focused on the person who did not show up that we cannot recognize the people who did. The mind returns again and again to the locked door, forgetting the window through which morning light is entering. Healing may begin when you allow yourself to notice the small mercies that have been faithful. A warm meal, an honest conversation, a safe room, a body that carried you through another day, a moment of laughter that arrived without permission. There is no shame in needing help. There is no spiritual failure in accepting protection. You are not less awakened because you require companionship. Even the stars exist in relationship with one another. Even the ancient trees exchange nourishment. Beneath the soil, even the moon, which appears to travel alone, is held within a greater harmony of light, gravity, and endless movement. The Bible says that two are better than one, because if one falls, the other can help them up. This is not a command to lose yourself in another person. It is a reminder that interdependence is woven into creation. Birds travel in formation. Rivers are fed by many streams. The human heart repairs through connection as much as through solitude. You were never designed to carry every weight in solitude. I know there may be a part of you that says, if someone trusts me, why do I still feel so misunderstood? This is a tender question. The presence of trust does not mean every person will understand every chapter of your life. Someone can believe in your goodness and still misunderstand your choices. Someone can love you and still lack the language to reach you. Someone can stand beside you in spirit while still learning how to stand beside you in daily life. Being loved does not guarantee being perfectly interpreted. Every person looks through the window of their own history. They may confuse your boundaries with rejection, your quietness with anger, or your transformation with distance. Their misunderstanding can hurt, but it does not automatically become the truth of who you are. This is why your healing cannot depend entirely on being perfectly understood by another human being. Human beings are still learning. They bring their own wounds, fears, and limited perspectives. The one who trusts you may stumble. The one who supports you may become tired. The one who loves you may not always know what to say. This does not erase the love that was present. You might gently consider the possibility that support is already making its way toward you, even if it is arriving gradually, not as a dramatic rescue, but as a series of small openings, a conversation that feels safer than expected, a new opportunity that does not demand that you abandon yourself, a sudden clarity about whom to call, the courage to ask for assistance, the willingness to let someone see the truth beneath your practiced strength. These openings can be easy to miss because they rarely announce themselves with thunder. They are more like the first green shoots beneath winter soil. At first they seem fragile. You may even wonder whether they are real. But with patience, they begin to show you that something has been alive beneath the surface all along. The prophet Elijah once believed he was completely alone, yet he was shown that there were others who had not abandoned the sacred path. Sometimes exhaustion narrows our vision until isolation appears to be the only reality. What you need may not be a miracle that changes the entire landscape, but one person, one resource, one honest moment that proves the landscape is wider than your fear suggested. What has helped many souls in this season is allowing themselves to receive evidence slowly. You do not have to trust everyone immediately. You do not have to hand your heart to every open door. You might simply notice who leaves you feeling more peaceful after a conversation, who respects your boundaries, who allows you to speak without making your pain about them, and who encourages your growth without requiring you to become useful to them. Trust can be built in small portions. Look for consistency rather than intensity. A dramatic promise can warm you for an hour, but repeated respect teaches your nervous system that safety is real. Notice whether someone's words and actions meet each other. Notice whether they can accept your no. Notice whether they celebrate your growth without secretly needing you to remain small. These are quiet signs, but quiet signs often have the strongest foundations. You might gently try asking yourself, who has shown me care through consistency, even if they have not used the words I needed? Let the answer come without forcing it. Perhaps a face appears. Perhaps several names arise. Perhaps, for now, no one does. That is okay too. You are not being tested. You are simply learning to look at your life with softer eyes. The first thing that has helped many souls is releasing the belief that support only counts when it saves them from every difficulty. I understand why you might long for someone to remove the struggle entirely. You have been tired. You have made it through days when even ordinary tasks felt like great mountains. But sometimes the person battling for you cannot remove the mountain. What they can do is remind you that your legs still work. They can walk beside you. They can bring water. They can help you find the safest path around the steepest edge. That kind of support is not small. A loving presence does not always prevent the storm. Sometimes it keeps you from believing that the storm is your identity. Sometimes it says, this is happening around you, but it is not all that you are. Sometimes it helps you remember that a painful season can be real without being permanent. When you notice yourself waiting for a grand rescue, you might place your hand over your heart and ask, what small form of support is available to me today? It may be a glass of water, a walk, a message to a trusted person, a quiet appointment with someone qualified to help, or the decision to rest before making a difficult choice. These actions may appear ordinary, but spiritual transformation is often carried through ordinary acts of care. The next thing that has helped many souls is learning to distinguish between the voice of fear and the voice of discernment. When you have been hurt, fear may tell you that everyone is secretly against you, or that you must interpret every silence as rejection. On another day, fear may tell you that someone's care is too good to be true. Discernment feels different. It is quieter. It does not demand panic. It does not insist that you decide everything immediately. It observes. You might gently ask, "What do I actually know? And what am I imagining because I feel afraid?" This question is not meant to dismiss your intuition. It is meant to protect your intuition from becoming tangled with old wounds. Your inner knowing becomes clearer when it is allowed to breathe. If you sense that someone is supporting you, you do not have to turn that feeling into a dramatic conclusion. You might simply let it invite gratitude. If you sense that someone is not safe, you do not need to justify that feeling endlessly before creating distance. You can move with care, seek another perspective, and honor patterns rather than isolated moments. The soul does not ask you to abandon wisdom in the name of spirituality. It asks you to bring love and wisdom into the same room. Another gentle step is allowing trusted people to know what kind of support would actually help. Many souls wait for others to guess their needs, and I understand why. Asking can feel vulnerable. You may fear becoming a burden. You may worry that if you explain what you need, the other person will decide you are too complicated. But people who care for you may not always know whether you need listening, practical help, reassurance, space, or companionship. You might try saying, "I do not need you to solve this. I would simply like you to sit with me." Or, "Could you check in with me tomorrow?" A clear request gives love a bridge to cross. You do not need to tell your entire life story in one conversation. You do not need to make your pain sound impressive enough to deserve care. A simple truth can be enough. "I am having a difficult day. I feel overwhelmed. I would appreciate some company." These words may feel small, but they open a door through which support can enter. And if someone responds imperfectly, please do not immediately make their limitation a verdict on your worth. They may be learning. They may not have the capacity at that moment. Their inability to help in one way does not prove that you are unlovable. It may simply show you where another source of support is needed. This brings us to something I have witnessed again and again: the importance of widening the circle. One person cannot always be your entire shelter. A friend may offer emotional comfort. A professional may offer guidance and grounding. A family member may help with practical matters. A spiritual community may remind you of meaning. Your own daily rituals may create stability when everything else feels uncertain. When we allow support to come from more than one place, we place less pressure on any single relationship. We also discover that life has been sending help through many channels. The person battling for you may be one visible part of a larger network of care. You might gently make a list of 3 forms of support you could reach toward. One can be personal, one practical, and one professional or community-based. You do not have to contact all 3 today. Simply naming them can help your nervous system remember that there are options beyond isolation. And if you are in immediate danger, overwhelmed by thoughts of harming yourself, or unable to stay safe, please reach out now to local emergency services, a crisis line, or someone physically near you. Seeking immediate human help is not a failure of faith. It is one of the ways life protects itself through you. There is also a step that many souls resist: allowing themselves to be seen while they are still becoming. You may feel that you must present the healed version of yourself before you deserve loyalty. You may believe that people will trust you only if you never falter, never change your mind, never need reassurance, and never return to an old wound. But genuine trust is not always built through perfection. Often, it grows through honesty and repair. A person may trust you more when you can say, "I was afraid, and I reacted from that fear," than when you pretend you were unaffected. You may become more trustworthy to yourself when you acknowledge what happened without turning it into a permanent identity. Being seen does not mean exposing yourself to everyone. It means choosing a few safe places where the mask can soften. It means letting someone witness your humanity without demanding that you perform strength for their comfort. You might consider sharing one honest sentence with someone who has earned that privilege. Not your deepest secret, not every unresolved pain. Just one true sentence. Notice what happens inside you when you stop editing your experience. Sometimes the greatest battle for your life is not being defended in a distant place. It is being invited back into your own voice. There is a reason this message has found you at this particular moment. Not because you need to become suspicious of the world or search every corner for a hidden ally. Rather, Perhaps you are ready to recognize the difference between being alone and feeling alone. These are not always the same. You may be physically surrounded by people and still feel emotionally abandoned. Or you may be walking through a solitary season while being deeply accompanied in ways that are not yet visible. The absence of constant contact does not always mean the absence of love. At the same time, longing for connection is valid. You do not have to spiritualize loneliness until you no longer allow yourself to want companionship. Your heart is allowed to desire people who show up. Your heart is allowed to want reciprocity, tenderness, and clear communication. Your heart is allowed to leave relationships where you are continually diminished. The knowledge that someone trusts you more than you imagine should not be used to keep you trapped in relationships that harm you. Sometimes the person battling for you is the wiser part of you that finally says, "I cannot continue abandoning myself to be accepted here." Sometimes protection arrives as a boundary. Sometimes love for your future self looks like stepping away from what repeatedly wounds you. This may feel confusing, because many spiritually sensitive souls have been taught that compassion means endless tolerance. But compassion without discernment can become self-erasure. You can understand someone's pain and still decide that their behavior is not safe for you. You can wish them healing without giving them continued access to your life. You can forgive inwardly and still choose distance outwardly. The deeper trust you are being invited into is not only trust in another person, it is trust in your ability to listen to yourself, gather information, seek guidance, and make choices slowly. You do not need to surrender your judgment to prove that you are open-hearted. There may also be someone in your life who has been waiting for you to believe in yourself. Perhaps they have offered encouragement, and you brushed it aside. Perhaps they praised a gift you are afraid to develop. Perhaps they have seen strength in you that you still call survival. Their faith may be functioning as a mirror, reflecting a possibility you have not yet accepted. When someone tells you that you are capable, you do not have to argue with them immediately. You might simply say, "Thank you. I am learning to believe that too." These words make room for new identity without forcing you to feel confident before you are ready. Confidence rarely arrives as a sudden sunrise. More often, it gathers like morning light beneath a door. One small action, one kept promise, one honest conversation, one completed task, and gradually you begin to see yourself differently. The person who trusts you may not be asking you to become extraordinary. They may simply be trusting you to keep taking the next honest step. That is enough. And if you cannot yet feel trust in yourself, you might borrow a little from someone who can. There is no shame in leaning on another person's faith while your own is being restored. Children learn to walk partly because someone nearby believes they can stand. Souls, too, sometimes need to be held in the field of another's confidence until their own roots grow strong. But remember, dear one, borrowed faith is meant to become nourishment, not a chain. The support you receive should eventually help you hear your own voice more clearly, not make you dependent upon someone else's approval for every decision. The most loving companions do not replace your inner guidance. They help you return to it. You might gently ask, "After spending time with this person, do I feel more connected to myself or more afraid to disappoint them?" This question can reveal much. Healthy support may challenge you, but it will not require you to disappear. It may invite responsibility, but it will not demand obedience. It may encourage growth, but it will not make love conditional upon performance. As you begin to recognize these distinctions, some relationships may deepen, and others may naturally loosen. This can bring grief. Even when a separation is healthy, it may still hurt. Please, do not interpret pain as proof that you made the wrong choice. A door can be right to close and still be mourned. Growth is not always a triumphant departure. Sometimes it is sitting quietly with the ache of no longer being who you were in a relationship. Sometimes it is allowing yourself to miss a person without returning to the pattern that harmed you. Sometimes it is blessing what was good, acknowledging what was painful, and carrying forward only what can live in the next season. The ones who truly trust you will not always hold you to an outdated version of yourself. They will notice your evolution. They may need time to understand it, but they will not punish you for growing. And you, in turn, may need to offer yourself the same grace. You are allowed to outgrow the identity formed during your most difficult years. There is no need to prove to anyone that you are worthy of support. Worthiness is not a prize awarded after you have become calm, successful, spiritual, or easy to love. It is present before achievement. It remains present through confusion. It survives mistakes. It does not disappear when you need help. What has helped many souls is practicing the receiving of simple care without immediately trying to repay it. If someone brings you food, let it nourish you. If someone offers to listen, let them listen. If someone reminds you of your strength, allow the words to rest within you before deciding whether you believe them. You may have learned that receiving creates debt, but healthy love is not a ledger. It is an exchange that moves through seasons. There will be times when you carry more, and times when someone else carries more. Mutuality does not mean perfect equality every day. It means that care is allowed to move in both directions over time. One day, the support you receive may become the support you offer another soul, not because you were required to earn it, but because what heals us often becomes something we naturally wish to share. Your survival may one day become a lantern for someone walking through a similar valley. You do not need to rush toward that role. For now, it is enough to let yourself be helped. Please do not turn this message into another task. You must perform perfectly. You do not need to identify every hidden ally before sunset. You do not need to uncover a grand spiritual plan. You do not need to decide that every difficulty means someone is fighting in secret for you. Simply become a little more available to the possibility of care. Notice the person who checks in. Notice the opportunity that gives you room to breathe. Notice the part of you that still hopes. Notice the impulse to reach out instead of withdrawing. Notice the moments when life becomes a little less heavy. These are not insignificant details. They are threads. And when gathered gently, threads become a fabric strong enough to hold you. If you feel forgotten today, may you remember that feeling forgotten is not the same as being forgotten. If you feel unsupported, may you become willing to look for support in forms that are safe, grounded, and real. If you feel that no one believes in you, may one small voice, perhaps mine, perhaps your own, perhaps the voice of someone who has been quietly hoping for you, reach the place inside that has grown tired of doubting. You are not required to carry the entire future tonight. You are not required to solve every relationship. You are not required to understand why certain people have entered or left your life. You might simply let this day be a day in which you stop fighting yourself. Let your shoulders lower. Let your breathing become less guarded. Let the possibility of companionship exist without demanding proof before comfort can begin. And if someone comes to mind while you are listening, someone who has shown you care in a quiet or imperfect way, you might consider offering a small acknowledgement, a message, a thank you, a moment of honesty, not because you owe them your life, but because gratitude can illuminate connections that pain has hidden from view. If another person comes to mind because you realize you have been waiting for support from someone who repeatedly withholds it, honor that realization too. The heart can hold gratitude and discernment together. You can appreciate what someone once gave and still accept that they cannot give what you need now. There are many kinds of battles in this world. Some are loud and visible. Others take place in the quiet choices made each day. Choosing not to give up, choosing to tell the truth, choosing to seek help, choosing to begin again after disappointment. I have watched souls win these quiet battles without ever receiving applause. Perhaps someone is fighting for you by reminding others of your goodness. Perhaps someone is fighting for you by holding a boundary that protects your future. Perhaps someone is fighting for you by refusing to let your worst moment become your whole identity. Perhaps life itself is fighting for you by closing a path that would have taken you farther from yourself. And perhaps, dear one, you are beginning to fight for yourself, not with force, not with anger, but with tenderness. You are beginning to say, my life is worth caring for. My peace is worth protecting. My voice deserves a place here. That is a sacred turning point. It may feel very small at first. Do not underestimate it. Every great return begins with a quiet decision to remain present. A seed does not announce the forest it will become. It simply accepts the soil, receives the rain, and continues its hidden work. Give yourself permission to grow in hidden ways. Give yourself permission to trust slowly. Give yourself permission to let love prove itself through consistency. Give yourself permission to be supported without becoming helpless, to be discerning without becoming closed, and to be compassionate without abandoning your own well-being. The path before you will not unfold in one dramatic revelation. It will reveal itself through moments, through choices, through the people who meet you with respect, through the boundaries that bring relief, through the inner strength that returns after you thought it was gone. You may discover that the person who trusts you more than you imagine has been waiting for you to trust yourself. And as that trust grows, you will no longer need to chase every sign of approval. You will be able to receive love as a gift rather than as evidence in a case against your own unworthiness. Dear one, you may go slowly. You may have days when courage feels distant. You may need to revisit these words more than once. Growth does not move in a straight line. It circles back, rests, remembers, and begins again. A tree does not apologize for standing bare in winter. A river does not consider itself a failure because it must bend around stone. You too are allowed to bend. You are allowed to rest while others believe in you. You are allowed to receive before you know how to give back. You are allowed to question, to pause, to change direction, and to ask for a hand. I believe there is more support around you than your most painful hour has allowed you to see. I believe there are people whose care has been quiet but sincere. I believe there are new companions you have not yet met. I believe there is wisdom within you that has survived every season that tried to silence it. And I believe that even now, some part of you is beginning to turn toward the light, not because you have everything figured out, but because you are still willing to listen. If you wish, place your hand over your heart and say softly, I am willing to recognize the support that is safe for me. I am willing to trust myself, one step at a time. You do not need to feel completely convinced. Let the words be a small seed. Let them rest where they need to rest. And if today all you can do is breathe, that is still a form of participation in your healing. If all you can do is remain here, that is still a courageous act. The soul does not measure progress by how impressive it appears. It measures progress by how honestly you return to life. Before we part, I have a small request. If something here touched you, share it in the comments. Not for me, but for yourself. Writing it makes it real. And if you see someone else's words below, offer them a moment of your warmth. We grow faster when we grow together. If someone you love needs to hear this, pass it along. Sometimes the greatest gift we give is simply sharing what helped us. And if you'd like to continue these conversations, subscribe. I'll be here whenever you need. Thank you for sitting with me today. Carry what serves you. Return whenever you wish. You are always welcome here.